Okay, you gotta eat this hot with some ice cream. It's so good. By far, my favorite apple cake. Out of all the apple cakes, this is my favorite. Hey y'all, it's Tammy, and apple season is in. That cool weather gets you in the mood for a nice apple cake. We're about to put one in the oven. My apple skillet cake. All right, when I peel my apples, I just go across the top and the bottom. And then I just use a paring knife and I peel them. And then once we peel them, I'm going to core it. And when you chop off the top or bottom flat like that, it's a lot easier to core because it lays flat for you when you get ready to core it. These, of course, weren't in the grocery store, so they're going to have some bad places in them. And that's how apples will be if you go and get them from an orchard or an apple, you know, a farm. So you just kind of cut out the ugly parts. And then after you peel them, you can just use your apple core and get the center out. The main thing when you're using an apple to do a skillet cake is you need to make sure you're using an apple that has a soft flesh and it's going to get done and it's not going to be still hard when you go to eat the cake. Golden Delicious are perfect. And these have the same texture as the Golden Delicious, so they're going to cook up fast. All right, we're going to get these in our bowl, and we're going to toss them in a little bit of lemon juice to keep them from turning. And I tasted this apple. I cooked a little bit. I've got it right here in a bowl. And because I had never cooked with it before, I wanted to taste it. You're going to want your apple to be nice and soft like you see this. I didn't cook it that long. But you're also going to want it to be a little bit tart and sweet at the same time. You can pair a tart and sweet apple together, or you can buy an apple that's both tart and sweet. That's why I like the Golden Delicious. But we are going to add a little bit of lemon juice to this because these were not real tart and sweet. That'll help them keep from turning as well. Now this is a cake you need to cook the day you serve it because it's not a pretty cake after it's sat overnight. I will say that, but boy, it's my favorite apple cake of all. It really is. It's my favorite one. Alrighty. Now we're going to toss these and some brown sugar with a little bit of cinnamon sugar. Now the cinnamon sugar is optional, so you're going to add a quarter cup of sugar, a third cup of packed brown sugar, and then I'm going to put a little cinnamon sugar in it because I like it. You don't have to put cinnamon in there if you don't want to, but me and Chris like it. So I'm going to toss this. And you can just add it all to the skillet, but I wanted to toss it since I put the lemon juice in there today. All right, we're going to hop over here to our skillet, and we're going to put in a half stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, and we're going to let it melt, and we're going to add these apples. You need to have your oven temperature at 350 degrees. That smells so good, y'all. It's that time of year. It's cooling down. Everybody's ready for something apple. This is an easy cake to make. So you're going to put your apples in there. And now we're going to mix up some cake batter. I'm going to use a half cup of shortening. A half cup of brown sugar and a cup of regular sugar. So there's our regular sugar. I'm going to turn this on. Our brown sugar. We'll use 2 eggs. Cups of buttermilk. And 1 1/2 cups of self-rising flour. And scrape the sides of my bowl and make sure everything's blended in. We'll let that mix up about another minute. I've got these on low right now. And now I'm going to take some oil and I'm going to spray the edges of my pan so that my cake, I'll make sure that my cake's not going to stick. Now we're going to put our cake mix on top. Now if you've got a deeper skillet, it wouldn't hurt to use it. And I'm going to make sure that try not to let this thing cook over, you know, like have too much batter. I could always make some cupcakes or something out of the extra. But you're not going to want to put the cake mix, too much of it, in a skillet. I did use quite a few apples, but it's going to take most of it, I think. But if you do have one of the higher 3-inch skillets, use it. And now all we're going to do is bake this. And if you want it to be more like a spice layer, then add some spices into your cake mix. And then it would be like an apple stack cake without all the trouble, okay? Let's get this cake out. Rose up nice. Make sure it's done. You know what, Mom used to do this. Yeah, it's done. Clean. All right. When you flip this out, the apples do kind of go everywhere. So, get your little spatula and have it ready. And you need to flip it out because if you let the apples and stuff cool, they're syrupy and they're sticky. And then they'll cling to the skillet and not the cake. So, let's see how it does. looks good enough to eat, don't it? Now, look how pretty it is, y'all. This fall, if you go to the apple orchard, this is a cake that you can make for your company or family to use up some of those apples. And boy, will you love it. And like I said, if you want more spices in it, put them in the apples. Put it in the cake batter. But this is just your simple apple skillet cake. Now what I'm doing right now is taking my skillet. What I'm doing right now is taking my spatula, and you can see it's got this thick syrup that it's formed. And I'm kind of scraping it onto the cake and off of my cake plate. And I'm going to rinse that off too, so that when I put my cake plate on, it doesn't get all sticky. And just kind of go around the edge. But that looks delicious to me. This is such a yummy cake. All right, now we're going to wipe this off so that your cake dome doesn't get sticky. And do not cover this up until it's cooled completely, or it'll sweat under the dome. Okay, you got to eat this hot with some ice cream. It's so good. So we're going to cut it right now. It's still warm, so keep that in mind when I'm cutting it. That's the best way to eat apples. Have some ice cream with it. Wish I were here to get a bite. But this is such an easy cake to make. You'll need to mix one up, throw it in your iron skillet. And boy, will you be happy you did. By far, my favorite apple cake. Out of all the apple cakes, this is my favorite. Thanks for watching Colorado Valley Cooks, where we cook like Mama did. Bye, y'all. Love ya. Happy apple season.